All right. I'll say good evening, Ghana. Good evening, the world. Good afternoon, right here in the US. You are welcome to the show, Hot Palaver. As you know, every Friday we get together to talk about everything social issues, political issues, religious issues in Ghana. You name it, showbiz, creative arts, you just name it. And our job is to have a very prominent, guest in our midst, and then talk about what is going on in Ghana and also around the world. So today I will have the pleasure to receive a gentleman that I admire a lot. His name is Mr. Sadiq Abdulai Abu. Will be in the studios via internet, not physically here, but virtually here in the studio, for us to talk about the cost of living in Ghana. And I'm pretty much sure a lot of you guys are here to watch him and also hear what he's gonna say today. But before we start, there's only one thing I'm gonna ask you guys to do is to help me to share the link so that a lot of people can join us for to start this show. So I'm gonna be receiving him in the next 5 minutes. But in between time, let me play some music.
Proud of farming Chroma. Here the king of Africa, Lord God of mercy. This one is a special dedication.
Okay.
To once and once.
Do me a favor and share the link.
Lord God of mercy.
Yeah, man. Please share the link. Welcome to the show, Hot Palaver. Myself and I, DJ Mac, right here. Watagwan. It's a Friday. It is a Friday, Hey. On Friday, on a Friday is always about. On Friday is all about relax and chill. Hey.
When we are gonna see you again.
So we are just chilling because it's a Friday. Welcome to the show. Myself and I, DJ Mac. Let's share the link together.
The independence of Ghana is
Let me share a little bit.
Unless it's linked up with the total liberation of the whole African continent.
Let me go on Facebook, and then let me also invite more people to the show.
Some 100 years ago inside the farmful, you taught us not to fool or carry water in a basket. You walk in the belly of the beast till your shoe sole drop off, but we still hit the deadly nail into the slave master's casket. Oh, Sergeant, Kwame Nkrumah, you shouted self-government now, when the rest of them still slumbered in the cauldron of procrastination. Yet imperialism, nepotism, pluralism, and yafu dideism were never part of you as a man. Black like jerks, Osajifu, Breu.
Why did you live so soon? I miss you soon. When we are gonna see you again, Mommy and Kuma, boy. Why did you live so soon?
Yes, let's share the link. Let's invite more people to join the show, please. Let's do that together.
Yes, you said it with no doubt that we prefer self-government with danger to servitude in tranquility.
Let's share the link. I'm also sharing right here.
And
trying to invite more people to the show.
You were full of ability. Materialism you hated like a cankerworm. As honesty to made you a celebrity.
I love this song from Black Rasta, It's a lovely piece of music.
Perpetrated by the enemies of jobless. Let no one curse.
Yeah, man.
The saying goes with no element of inferiority. Ghana would one day kill
These messages are good,
You said it
Zip.
when your government was toppled by some cacophonous drunk soldier man with no dignity.
All right. Help me to share the link. Please, when you join the show, please announce yourself. Encore une fois, je dis bonsoir à tout le monde. Soyez les bienvenus. À tous mes amis francophones, je vous dis soyez les bienvenus. Bienvenido. ¿Todo bien? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? ¿Estás tranquilo allí? Muy bien aquí. Estoy bien, muy bien. Es viernes. It is a Friday. C'est le vendredi, hein? Le vendredi, on est ensemble. Partagez. Meaning share the link. Invite your friends. Let your friends invite their friends. And then let's talk to Mr. Sadiq Abdulai Abu in a few minutes.
For the black nation, no need to fight. We should unite for the future generation. Oh yeah, Kwame Nkrumah,
Kwame Nkrumah,
Nkrumah, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Musical soul fast echo from the hearts of the rumbless band. A musical leader whose love for black dignity would always be true and remain like the footsteps in the sand. Wake up the spirit of Africa and uphold the name of a great son of the land. Nkrumah, you love Africa so much so that you never looted any booty from the motherland. Hail Nkrumah, Nkrumah. Hail the king, direct descendant of the Nzimala. It is time to pacify the spirits of Nkrumah.
Rastafari, Selassie, soyez les bienvenus. You're welcome to the show. In a moment from now, we're going to be talking to Mr. Sadiq Abdulai Abu. Hey, I like his name. I even have an acronym for him. SAR. I'm going to tell him the meaning of the acronym that I just gave him today. The acronym of his name. I'm going to tell him very soon. Okay, we're going to welcome him very soon. Let's take one more music, and then when we come back, we'll receive him. But in between time, please help me to share. Hey.
All right, this is a special one. All right.
Yeah, this is a special one. I'm telling you. Yeah, Black Rasta. Yeah. Somebody should tag me, Black Rasta. Can you tag me, Black Rasta, please? Tag me, Black Rasta. Black Rasta from Ghana, you know. I love his song, man. On Fridays, those are my songs from Black Rasta. That gives me the motivation to sit right here. Yeah, man, respect to the man them call Black Rasta. Yeah, man, respect.
He was my brother, my father, and my friend.
Hey.
So tell me why and how and who. He was a man so strong and bold. So Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. They were the best of friends. Zapateri, Berlusconi, and Sarkozy of France. Eat, dine, and boonga boonga, and flock together, they did like birds. Handshakes of treachery, hypocrisy, and jealousy soon flooded the press. Popular uprising in Tunisia, Syria, and Egypt rustled the nest. They planted rats and cockroaches to rebel against Gaddafi and cause
okay, we're gonna
historical mess.
First, so we're gonna welcome
in a twinkle of an eye,
our guest and start the show.
And the boonga boonga must be suppressed, and the best put together to rest, having been replaced by drones from America, Italy, France, and the rest.
Okay.
What a shame!
What a shame! What a shame! Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yes. Thank God it's Friday, myself and I, DJ Mac. We are broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. Whether you like it or not,
so vehement.
This is the world capital. Yeah, I'm right here in the world capital, right? I don't know about Accra. Maybe Accra could be maybe African's capital, but Washington D.C. is the world capital. Yeah, that's how the American people say. Okay, we're going to welcome our guest.
He regretted his past and wanted to see.
Right after this, we're going to welcome our guest, and then we can start the show. Right after this.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
trendybeats.com.
12 a.m. in the morning, I still wait for your call. Don't do me like this, oh yeah. I'll meet you alone. Yeah. Cause I don't the wait, oh, I don't the wait, see, so yeah. And I still the pray, oh, I still the.
Okay, once again, you guys are welcome to the show, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today happened to be Friday, as you know, as usual. All Friday is all about Hot Palaver, where we receive a guest and talk about social, political, whatever issue in the world, especially Ghana. And today I have a guest that, man, I love this guy, man. I know it's going to be a great time today. And I'm going to be talking to Mr. Sadiq ABDULAI Abu. Mr. Abu, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
DJ Mark.
Yeah. I just love this outfit, man. When I see outfit like this, I'm happy to be African,
Yeah.
I used to tell people that here in America, I tell people that I don't have to be in a suit to look good. I can be in an African attire and look good. I like that, yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's start. Let me just ask you this question to start with. Is to know you. Who are you? Present yourself to my viewers, because some of my viewers here, I have a French background, so I have Togolese people watching you. I have people from Burkina. I have the diaspora right here, which is mix of a lot of countries that are watching you. People in Ghana might know you, but some here in the diaspora might not know you. So if you can introduce yourself to those people to know you better.
Well, my name is Sadiq ABDULAI Abu. I'm a media and entertainment. I'm a Ghanaian media and entertainment entrepreneur. I run the 3 Media Networks Limited, which owns 24-hour service TV channel 3 Music TV. We also produce the 3 Music Awards, which is Ghana's most anticipated music awards event. We also do a number of other events, including the Women's Branch, the Fun Festival, and we also produce events and do marketing for clients. So to sum up, or in a snapshot, this is who I am.
Wow.
I also do politics.
You do politics. Okay. Let me sit very well. So don't be surprised when I start asking you some questions. Maybe you think that DJ Max should know all this, but I'm somebody who descended from 4 countries. I'm a Benin guy, I'm Togo guy, I'm from Burkina, I'm from Ghana. So I have to follow up with all those news. And I speak 4 languages. So I speak French.
Proper West African.
I'm telling you, I speak English, French, Spanish, and Ewe. So I'm all over the place. So some question might be a little bit.
You don't speak Jula or Moshi?
No, I don't speak Jula or Moshi. But I know if I were to be in Ivory Coast a little bit, I should be able to speak one of those languages. But I'll try. I'll get there. More languages for me. Do you speak any of them? Jula? You speak Jula?
Just understand a bit of it. I mean, I've got a background that's connected to the Julas as well.
Oh, in Ivory Coast. Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I'm Ghanaian. There's a long-standing Jula connection of Ghanaians. In Ghana, they are called the Bandas or the Wangaras.
Oh, okay.
Wow. They are in Ghana,
Wow. Looking at you today, reading a lot about you and looking at your name, Sadiq Abdulai Abu, I came with an acronym for you. And that acronym is SAA, SAA. But it has a meaning for me. The first one is you are super, right? You are a super person. You have done a lot. I have followed you for a while. So I call you a superman. That means you are indefatigable. And
Thank you.
the first A, right, stand for you are very articulate in whatever you do. Like you
Right.
express yourself very well, you communicate well, you express yourself, for people to really understand you. And the last A is you're admirable. Like people love you. You have a lot of people that admire you and also love you. So that's my acronym for you.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
being somebody in the creative art, I just want to tell you that some of us will be watching you, we'll be seeing what you're doing. So we really, really appreciate you. Now,
Thank you.
let's dive now into the interview itself. I'm not going to call it interview, conversation that we're going to have
Right.
today.
Right.
From your summary or your presentation, I realized that you have a very heavy background in the showbiz, right?
Right.
In the
Right.
creative art industry. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you, in your many years of being in the creative art industry, what about some of the stuff that you have done in that industry?
Well, I mean,
If you can tell us few.
well, a whole lot. I started off as a production assistant in 2004,
Okay.
working with Metro TV as a
Mm-hmm.
productions assistant. At a point in time, I became an assistant producer and then left to communication school.
Mm,
So after the communications education, I did work with some advertising agencies in Ghana.
mm-hmm.
Then, at a point in time, I joined multimedia.
Mm,
I think in 2009, multimedia owns Joy FM, Hits FM. So I worked with Hits FM. I worked with Joy FM at a point in time. Then when I left, I worked with an agency called Rockstar 4000, which is a South African agency, where we did there was a huge Pan African project called the 1/8 Project,
mm.
where a group of 8 African artists collaborated with R. Kelly on Hands Across the World, a song that helped to rebrand Zain Telecommunications brand into Airtel. We worked on that in West Africa as well. Then I got the opportunity to work with the Rave Media Group, which was heavy, doing a lot of works and providing representation for the likes of MTV and Trace TV in Ghana. Then started off as an entrepreneur, producing content on my own through a company that I created called Outburst Communications. I produced a 30 minutes music show, produced a fashion GH music show.
Wow.
Then at the point in time, I joined a Viasat One,
Mm,
which is a mainstream television channel, as the head of programs and productions for nearly 2 years. Where after I left, I co-founded Muse Africa, and then somewhere around 2017, I started a journey on Three Music, and I've
wow.
never looked back since.
Wow. This is like heavy, heavy baggage that you have.
Yeah.
Your portfolio is so heavy that even if I take 3 aircraft, they can't even carry it. But anyway, you just talk about Three Music, and I know recently Three Music you had a Three Music Award,
Right.
and what I heard on the street is that Three Music Award came to have a competition with VGMA, and I want to ask you as a CEO, what prompted you because VGMA had been in existence for, I believe, more than 20 years. What
Right.
prompted you to come up with another award? Does Ghana really need another award? But what is the brain behind you coming up with that Three Music Award?
Well, the idea was to create another high-valued entertainment property for the country,
Mm,
because we felt that it was needed.
mm,
Most importantly, we wanted to also add to whatever existed in the space.
mm,
But most importantly, we also wanted to differentiate. But the idea, what we think of this things, is not to sort of compete. It's just to create another
mm,
credible platform to celebrate or reward creative excellence in the country. That's a basic thing that drove the interest to create the Three Music Awards. But
mm,
most importantly, as well, we had created this very exciting platform that was broadcasting a lot of music and music-based content on TV. And so the Three Music Awards afforded this opportunity to celebrate a number of the talents that whose videos and music we've been broadcasting over the time. Um, you know, but then again, we knew that there was always an opportunity to create another high valued entertainment experience for audiences. There was an opening for that, which we basically did create it for. So the focus was not on VGMA. The focus was actually think of something that would um, give a very good entertainment experience, not only for Ghanaians, but something that would grow and become a Pan African phenomenon.
Wow. So right, I don't want to, but okay, I'll leave it alone because I was like, okay, so we have VGMA for over 20 years. You came out with a new concept
Yeah, three
because
music awards.
so if you come with a three music award, my feeling is like Abu thinks that VGMA is not really doing what it's supposed to do. So let me create something to, you know, make it different. You know, that's
No,
not the brain
no, no,
behind it. No,
no,
no.
no, no. I mean, in the ways I think, in the ways myself and my team will process things, if we think about it on that line, you would it will be faulty lines to actually
Mm,
stand on. I mean, VGMA, and I've always maintained and made a strong point that in Ghana,
mm,
the biggest platform that was creative excellence has always been the VGMA. I mean, and that's a fact that cannot be disputed.
mm,
We sought to create, like I said, another credible, high valued entertainment experience for the audiences. And I mean, just like it happens in a lot of countries, I think that there's room for a number of industrial initiatives that celebrate the music, that celebrate the talent, that
mm,
celebrate artistry
mm,
in different ways. There's rooms for that. So in the US, for instance, you would recognize that there are a lot of industrial initiatives that
yeah,
celebrate the talents,
that's true.
obviously in different exciting ways. So there's always American Music Awards, but then again, there's a Grammys. Then
Mm,
there's a VMAs.
mm-hmm,
There's a BETs. There's
yeah.
a so there's a whole lot of them. I mean, when you go to other countries as well, they have them. When you go to the UK, there's a
Mm-hmm,
famous Brits Awards,
mm-hmm,
and then there is the Mobiles, and
yeah.
there's a number of them,
Yeah.
which obviously celebrates the music and celebrate the talent in different exciting ways,
Mm,
which all adds to the vibrancy of industry, which drives competition in the industry, which basically brings a certain level of value
mm,
to industry. And so I mean, if it can be a number of us doing this in all our, I mean, providing all the different elements to it. I'm thinking that would add up to industry. But it's also most important that for us a brand at Three Music,
mm,
this is the main industrial initiative that keeps us on the top of mind of people, and most importantly, helps us to stay competitive and relevant in the market.
mm. But from my point of view, is competition is not bad. Competition makes you to think out of the box.
Right,
Competition makes you to be relevant, and
right,
competition make you to bring the best out of you. So that's how
right.
I see competition. But I know a lot of Africans where we come from. People
Yeah,
see competition to be is the work of the devil because I'm selling tomatoes. Why do you also want to
yeah,
sell
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
tomatoes that I'm selling? So yeah, we
yeah,
Africans we have a problem with that, but I think competition brings
yeah.
out the best out of
Yeah,
you.
it's,
That's
it's
what
good,
I
but
yeah,
we
that's
also
what I
need to be
think.
able to see it more from a complementary
Mm-hmm.
standpoint.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you are doing yours within the ecosystem. We're also doing ours in the
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem together. We all have to push and, I mean, direct or pull the industry in the ways that it ought to be,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, three music award. How much did it cost you to have that event planned? Because
Oh,
looking at it, man, that thing should cost a lot of
I mean,
money. How much
it
did it cost?
costs what it costs a whole lot. I know in the country here in Ghana,
Mm.
throwing out numbers are things that people do not like. When you throw out the numbers, you get a
Oh,
lot of.
but me, I had some filler. I have filler.
What's
I
the
had
fella?
some fillers. I had a
What's the
filler that
fella?
you spend about $2 million
Well,
on this
well,
three
it's
music award.
possible. Well, it's possible when
Is
you look
that
at the
is
value.
that the truth? Is that the
Well,
truth? 2 million?
it's possible. It's not exactly that amount, but it's possible.
Is it close to that
Um,
amount?
well, it's closer because for me, in
Mm,
quantifying the
mhm,
expense and the cost on some of these things, I like to quantify it on
mm,
the value. The value that you saw, the
mm,
value of what we saw there, obviously should be just about a $2 million. It does not mean that we exactly spend $2 million because sometimes, um, and here, and also because we are industry players, there are certain values you could get away with but that's the value. The value is like that, because when you want to break it down,
$2 million.
yeah, if you want to break it down in terms of the actual cost element of the various elements of the events, you won't be far from that particular figure. So I and the team would like to stick it on the value, what you saw, the value of it, than actually going into detail on the exact figures that we spend.
Yeah, because sometimes we Africans, we like, quantifying stuff is good for us. Like this quantitative analysis. We want to see the quantity. A qualification that's good, but we want to know in dollar amount how much did you spend. But you
Yes.
confirmed to me that it's close to 2 million. But I see one celebrity that came to your show, and he's very popular here in the US. He's a comedian. His name is, I believe, Michael Blackson. Very
Yeah.
popular. He
Yeah,
came. He came to the award. And
yeah, he
my
did.
my
Thanks
my
for that.
question is, how much did you pay that guy to come to your show, man? Because that is the big door here, man. He's that guy is,
No, no.
he's
In actual fact, we wasn't paid to be at the event. The
he came for
story.
free.
Well, I mean, not necessarily free, but I mean,
Okay.
you will recognize that. I think that you would have to recognize that Michael has been coming in and out of Ghana for some
Mm-hmm.
time now. He actually owns a home in Ghana,
Mm.
and so our event happened at a point in time when Michael was in Ghana and was hanging out with some of his friends. I mean, and so when some of the friends that he was hanging out with were people that we knew,
Mm.
and so once we got hint of the fact that he was in Ghana, we did reach out to the team, and I mean, he did show up. One of the things you would have to know about Michael is that he's not just coming to Ghana and going and owning a home and going. He's been very particular about supporting Ghanaian entertainment initiatives, either via appearances or how he associates with a lot of the Ghanaian entertainers and all of that, which is commendable, and which is what he sought to do. From my mind, I think that he saw a very viable and strong and credible platform where he thought that his appearance would help to project and to position it very well, which would be a key support that people like him would give to young Ghanaian entrepreneurs like us, which is much appreciated. And so that's what I mean he sought to do, which was good for us.
Wow, wow, wow. That's really good, and I applaud him for that. If he's already really showed love to you guys without even taking a
Yes,
dime, I'll say we clap for him. He's
yes,
shown that he's a
yeah.
truly Ghanaian. He's ready to
Yeah,
support Africa.
and
He's
that's the
ready to
way.
support Ghana.
That's the way to help to give back and
Mm-hmm.
help to pick us up. Those of
Mm-hmm.
us that are actually basically crawling, pick us up and take us to that particular position. And it's not something that he needs to be really, really be commended for. I've been excited since we got news of the fact that he was actually moving, or he was actually decided to own a home in Ghana, which is something. I mean, for us to be able to really come together and project whatever exists in Africa to the world and the diaspora, we would need people like him that are available in the diaspora and
Mm-hmm.
are already top level and everything to be able to, continue to help to pick us up in this particular race.
Yeah. So when I posted your flyers that I'm going to host you today, and one of my friend called me from Ghana and said, "You going to host Abu?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Man, that guy is so controversial." And I said, "Controversial?" I said, "Okay, I'll ask him whether do you know you are controversial, because that's what people say
This,
on the street,
in
that you are
fact,
very
in fact, this is
controversial. It's
in
true."
fact this is the first time I'm getting
Ah,
a certain
they
notification
say you are
that
controversial.
I'm actually, well, I don't know. Maybe there are one of few things that they want to be specific on, which they think is controversial. But I don't consider myself as controversial
But I know
because
you are.
I generally do not go out there to stir controversy or cause trouble. Um,
Okay.
but I know I'm a very opinionated person, particularly
Ah.
as it connects to the issues of the arts, issues of politics, and and the stance that you take. I mean, in our part in Africa, you get a few people taking a stance to support a particular political party and actually doing the work for them and also doing their work, and that can create a certain level of what's it called?
I think Abu. I think you don't know that in Africa, having too much opinion means you are controversial. You don't know that.
Yeah, well,
Oh
maybe,
man, man, no,
maybe,
no, no, man. I'm surprised you
maybe,
don't know that. If you have too
yeah,
much opinion in Africa and you
yeah,
always
yeah,
want to challenge people, and then you
particular,
attack
particular.
you attack
Yeah,
like controversial
exactly,
person.
exactly. So I'm sure it may come from that, but I don't consider myself as controversial. Yeah.
Now reading from your background and all those stuff you did, Three Music Award. I know you are very you are into investing into the showbiz, into creative art, and I want to ask you, cost of living in Ghana, does
Yeah.
it affect you as a investor?
Yes, I mean, cost of living affects everything in
Mm,
the country because I
mm,
mean, um, when the cost of living definitely is high,
mm,
it would affect what you call the goods and services. We operate mainly in the services sector where we're creating opportunities to entertain people. You are looking to entertain people in the ways that you're expecting them to spend money on. In Africa, you would realize that the last thing they spend their money on when they don't have money is entertainment.
mm,
Charlie, when they don't have money, the basic necessities they spend their money on, which is food, clothing, shelter.
mm,
Entertainment is always at the last or the bottom of what they think about generally.
mm,
And so they would want to do that when they have money to spend. And that's why you would realize that there's an uptick
mm,
in a lot of enjoyment and entertainment things towards the end of the month,
mm.
where people have a lot more money to.
I'm sure he's receiving a call because if his internet is good, so I'm like positive that maybe he received a call. That's why yeah the line went blank. But I think we're having a great time. I still have a lot of questions for him, man. This guy is great, and I only have admiration for him. Admire a lot of the stuff that he does. And I think his contribution to Ghana creative art is enormous, is a huge, and I'm glad to have him today. So we're going to continue with our interview. I see that he's back. So let me bring him back in, and then we can continue. All right, Abu. I think you're back.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking
So,
about something. Yeah.
yes, I'm saying that the cost of living definitely
Mm,
does affect a number of things and affect events, affects nightclubs
mm-hmm,
and stuff like that. So when the cost of living definitely is high, it
mm,
would affect everything else. It would affect goods, it would affect services, it would affect everything else in the country.
mm,
And so and so yeah, it does affect because I mean, obviously when the cost of living is high, um, people would want to spend more on food and the clothing they wear and where to lay their head, which
mm.
are basic necessities that comes to them. And so cost of living does affect, I mean, all of us in the country.
So how are you dealing with the cost of living in terms of investment into the creative arts? What have been some of the strategies that you put in place to deal with such high cost of living in Ghana? Actually.
Well, we've expanded the business into a
Mm,
group
mm,
that has various different elements right now. So, like I indicated to you, Three Music now also has a full 24/7 free television channel in the country that's accessible by everybody. We
mm.
launched it just about a month ago.
A month ago.
We've also got a music distributions platform. We're creating the Three Music.tv, and then we also do events for clients as
Mm,
well.
mm.
For clients that actually need experiential services or below the line services, we also do television productions, documentary
Okay.
productions for clients as well. And so when the element of events is actually down, that's in terms of our personal events. The rest of the year we spend it on other parts that also drive revenue for us. That has been part of the ways that we've been dealing with it, expanding the business,
Mm,
diversifying it, going to various different elements of the arts or creative industry, and providing other different services so that generally we can use the same vehicle and this number of staff that we have to pursue all of these things without necessarily having to wait for such a time when
mm,
Ghanaians or people would have a lot more money for us to actually create the experience. And then
mm,
also we've been taking risk. I mean, regardless of whatever the conditions in the country may be, you can't just fold your arms and just so. I mean, a lot of the things that we're doing requires a lot of investment. You're investing in an office, you have a staff. There's a lot of things that you've invested in that you just can't fold your arms and look at it. You definitely
mm,
would have to move. I mean, create different activities that you test it and see how it works, and then you take it off from there. That has been some of the ways that we've been. And then also we also enter into advisory services and
mm.
play some roles for global brands that are looking into the country, particularly relative to the media and entertainment business. Provide those consultancies for some quick bucks that helps to support what we do as a business.
Yeah, you guys are doing a lot. There's a lot of stuff. You guys have really diversified into a lot of stuff, which I think is brilliant. But I'm going to challenge you on this. People say things are hard in Ghana, cost of living is high. But on my recent trip to Ghana was last month. I did go around into some of the clubs, the drinking bar, and those drinking bar and clubs are always full, and people are spending money. See, I was there. I was holding only one bottle of beer, and I see people buying champagne like money is
They're
nothing. And I was like,
they are
hey,
drinking the haship. They are drinking the haship away.
so I'm asking myself, is it the same Ghana? People are complaining that Ghana is so hard, the cost of living is too high, and people are spending money on 20 bottle of champagne a night.
Well, I'm sure that the people you may have encountered in the clubs are
Mm-hmm.
people that are in the middle to upper level category,
Mm-hmm.
of the middle to upper class
Mm-hmm.
of the country. There's a huge chunk of people that are below this particular category who do not have the jobs, who are not actually earning that much to be able to afford the kind of lifestyle that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And so you realize that generally, and because they for that particular bracket is a whole lot in the country, that's why it creates that particular narrative, but it doesn't mean that there's just a few people that are actually enjoying and making some money and blowing them, but there's a huge chunk, there's a large base of
Mm-hmm.
people that are eligible for employment or jobs that do not have employment, for instance. And so such people do not even have what to eat or what to fend of themselves, or enough to actually spend in the nightclubs. There's a large section of them that are not really earning money in the ways that they ought to do. They are not living in like the best of conditions. It's just a few people that actually have the jobs and are actually earning beyond a certain expected level to be able to, afford some of these entertainments and all of those things. And then obviously there are those people as well that you see them in the club, but they just can't show up for there.
Mm-hmm.
If the guy where he makes the money blow, they just hit the table and drink some and go home.
So I actually, for so
So
what you're saying is that I see 10 people at the table. It's only one person who actually have the money. The rest,
yeah, of course, it's
they are
likely. I mean,
parasites.
if you escort the clubs, you go, you have what they call the shutters, or you have what they call the bombers. He comes there and takes the table. He's the only person that will pay for the table. Everybody else shall is sitting to drink and shall they go.
Parasite, yeah, yes, parasiting.
Exactly. That happens, but you need to understand that there are different categories. There are different categories of citizens in the country. There's always those that are, even though they are eligible for jobs, do not have the jobs. They do not have the money. They are living below the necessary or the most reasonable expectations that they should be in a particular country. Then there are a few people that are really, really enjoying in the country. There are a few people that really have all the contracts. There are a few people, that the way it works in a lot of countries. There will be few connected in every country that have access to all the contract, have access to all the jobs, have access to all the money, and particularly where their party is in power, they have access to everything that's most important that draws or drives money for them. And these people, they can blow it in many exciting ways, in the ways that you saw,
Now,
So
now that
so
you are
that's there.
now that you are talking about, let me ask you this question: what do you think about the Fix the Country demonstration or the
I
campaign,
think
the
it's a
Fix the Country?
I think it's a very important thing that also happened. The
Mm,
history of the country has always had such movements or
mm,
such demonstrations to be able to develop the country. For the country to develop, we would need such pressure points to be able to drive that pressure, put pressure on the people in leadership to do what's needful. Other than that, leadership can go into an overdrive. Sometimes they are, when they are where they are and are at the top and have access to everything else, they can be disconnected from the people and
mm,
disconnected from the needs and the wants of the people enough to really understand what's really going on. So it's important that such movements do come in or are supported. So
mm,
it provides that necessary pressure that, look, I mean, you think you're providing employment, but no, you're actually recycling it. You're giving jobs to people that are already had jobs, and also because they are already connected to a party in power, you're giving them the same jobs again. So it's the same group of people that you're recycling employment and again and again and again and again. They move and move and move and take everything else. But there's a huge chunk of them that do not have the requisite training because they don't have the money for it, that do not have the access or the network some of these other people have. Health is a very, very important thing. We do not have all of today. If I have an emergency and I'm
mm,
taken to any of the major hospitals in the country, I can only look up to God on the
mm,
luck from
mm,
God for me to survive, because anything can happen. And it's something that, and that's for somebody like me who can actually even afford healthcare, because by the fact that by the time I'm actually taken to an emergency to, let's say, Kolebu or 37 or anything, at that moment where I'm in that position where I
mm,
need critical health
mm,
attention, it doesn't matter if I have money and I can afford or not. It will be an issue of whether there are beds to admit me, or whether there's space to admit me, or for me to give in the necessary attention. And you obviously cannot have the country like that. So it's important that some of these movements do come in and are supported to provide that necessary pressure and
mm,
reality to people in leadership to understand that this is how the people are thinking. I mean, a lot more young people do not have jobs. They do not have, I mean, individuals like us are trying in making the necessary investments that create employment to the people. But I mean, the state needs to do more to provide a lot more to employment to a large section of the people who do not have it, enough to actually survive. Because you see, the problems of unemployment, it's many. Unemployment can actually drive the country into insecurity.
mm,
Unemployment, because I mean, there are a lot of examples to show. Unemployment, there's a whole lot that it can do, that affects the country negatively. And so it's important that, because I mean, the fact that we have and they don't have, it doesn't make us safe. Because the
mm,
next minute, these guys, if they are pushed to the wall so much so that regardless of the law, they may move into an overdrive that may force them to actually have to rob, and they will come for us. And so it's important that particularly those of us that have a voice, those of us that have a certain level of recognition, are able to join the whole Fix Your Country movement, or help them, support them any way they can, to be able to continue to amplify the needs and the wants of the people. That gives the pressure, the reality to the states in terms of what they should do. you
mm,
know. And so Fix the Country, it's a necessary movement that has always been there. The independence of the country couldn't have been
mm,
gotten without that pressure from a group of people that thought that it was important to wrestle and take the country from foreigners, at different levels, where we've different levels of our republic in the country. I mean, there's always been these demonstrations, agitations, for better. And once democracy supports it and once it's legal, I mean, I'm all for it.
So, my question to you is: we saw the demonstration, we saw the numbers, and the government laughed at the demonstration because the numbers were not there. And we are seeing that people are really crying in the country. Why people didn't go to demonstrate to show their unhappiness to the government? The numbers were not encouraging. What do you think was the problem?
Well, I mean, obviously, there are various different reasons why people do not necessarily show up at demonstrations, but it doesn't mean that they don't identify with the
Mm,
message or the narrative of Fix Your Country. I mean, the Ghana is funny. The fact that you don't see the numbers does not mean that when it matters most, these people can punish you in elections.
mm,
When you are better off actually allowing or getting people to actually show up on the street than if they don't. It's actually been dangerous for any government that's
mm,
in power. Ghanaians have a way of quietly but allow you to do all the wrong things, defending them, and when it matters most, particularly in elections, they punish you heavily for it.
mm,
And so it still does not mean that Fix Your Country and the demonstration we saw was not effective. Yes, there was a certain limited number of people that were there, but the message and the narrative from the demonstration resonated with thousands more, millions more that were at home, that support this movement, that interacted on the news and the messages that the movement actually pushed out, and would actually, where it matters most, identify with the movement than the government.
mm. Now, you mentioned the key word that I took right now. You say election will be the time where the population can punish the party. 2020, you help the NDC in their manifesto, especially when we are talking about a creative art. My question to you is that the first time when you showed your support to NDC, or you used to work with them?
No, I mean, that's the first time that I publicly
mm,
did any public facing work with the NDC.
mm,
But NDC has been a party that I've supported for some time, and so but 2020 was the first time that I actually got involved in the campaign proper.
mm. After the election, we have seen you just went dark, like went to the background. We don't see you in the scene again. But I'm thinking 2024, will you come back to the front line again to help the NDC?
Yes, I mean, so that after every election,
Mm,
the party or every party goes into a reorganization mode. And particularly for a party that's in a position, we're currently going through a certain reorganization mode where a lot of activities is happening in the background. And so, key to that is some of us that are playing roles in the various constituencies. So I belong. So for every member of the party belongs to first and foremost a branch,
mm-hmm,
right? A
mm-hmm,
branch. A branch is one of the smallest, what's it called, units of the party. The branch is also part of the ward, and
mm,
the ward is part of the constituency. So you go to a particular constituency, you will have a number of wards. In my
mm,
constituency, there are 5 wards,
mm-hmm,
and in the 5 wards, there are a number of branches. When you put it together, in my constituency, there are about 19 branches.
mm,
Right? There are about 19 branches and there are about 5 wards. So they've been divided into wards. The party do go into this reorganization mode that helps to build it and put it together and organize and galvanize the members ahead of when a lot of the public activities will start. And so I've been involved in the background in the reorganization mode, particularly in my constituency, which is something that is advised so that a lot of the people that are or have been at the forefront of politics do spend a lot, because this is the point where the various grassroots units of the party need us, need our attention, need our focus to help to reorganize it and shape it and put it together, make and create a stronger machine ahead of the campaign. And so, yes, we've been working in the background aside the work that I also do currently. And obviously, there's always going to that point where a lot of the public facing activities will start. And so, for
mm,
now, there's a lot of background activities happening. So, you realize that the party has not been on that campaign mode. The
mm,
country has there's a particular point in time where campaign really kickstarts and goes into, but before that, the party has to be strong. And I've been involved in the
mm.
reorganization mode for the party in my constituency.
So 2020, NDC was shouting that the election have been stolen by the MPP. Now going into 2024, I'm asking you, what do you think your advice should be for your party to in order to make sure that they secure power in the next election? What do you think
Well, I
need to
mean,
be
what
done?
what we are doing is what we've actually started, like, and I indicated to you, because
Mm,
you see, election is a process. It's not an event.
mm, yeah.
Yeah, so we just don't wake up in 2025 and say, we are going to elections. It's a process. The process starts with the reorganization. And so
Mm,
part of what is being done today are all meant to secure that in 2024. So, I mean, it would obviously start with the reorganization,
mm,
try to galvanize the base. We'll have the necessary meetings of the parties in the various different branches and constituencies, trying to encourage everybody to come out again. And obviously, from the top, which is the national, coming down to the regional, coming down to the constituency, there'll be what you call the calendar for activities that would help to reorganize, where we'll do the branch elections. You would
mm,
have a few executives that overlook the branches. You would have the ward coordinators appointed that are overlooking the various ward activities. And then obviously you will have constituency officers elected as well. Then after that, you would have the parliamentary candidates also elected. But prior to that, the depending on the calendar of the party as well, there's always a point in time when they would have national officers also appointed before a lot of these things will kickstart or get into motion. But after this, then we got into a process where we appoint the national officers who would actually run the party from a top line perspective into the elections. And then obviously there will be a point in time when the campaign committees will be formed for the various campaign activities, the campaign chairperson, campaign spokespeople, and all of these people all come together to now actually effectively there will be a director of elections
mm,
appointed to overlook the most important element of securing the votes that are voted for us by Ghanaians. So
mm.
it's a process that
It's a
has
process.
already
Okay.
kickstarted, but we understand that a lot of these things do happen in the background. and the parties from the various different parties, from the national to regional to constituency. A lot of these things will happen in the background, but all of these are all part of the process of ensuring that in 2024, whatever happened in 2020 do not happen. But it's also most important that you know that as part of that process, two of our parliamentarians currently have started a process to ensure that the state is able to answer for the deaths of people that died or that were killed in very, very bad ways during election 2024. We are of the opinion, the parties of the opinion, that these are some of the things that were done to actually what's it called, rig the vote in 2020. It should never happen. People in their in people on their legitimate duties of protecting the ballot should not be shot at and should not be killed. These are very, very bad things that the country need answers. So all of this forms part of the process, of the bigger process by the party to ensure that in 2024, whatever happened in 2020 do not happen.
All right. Nanado have been in power for a while now. If I ask you to rate him from 0 to 10, what will you give him?
You will know the opinion. Whatever I'll say to you is actually the verdict that's out there. Yeah, that's the verdict. The verdict out there, it's nothing to write home about. You know, from 0 to 10, definitely when you look at it across various different sectors, you're gonna give Nanado a 0. Of course.
So not even a 1. Hey,
no,
my brother.
That's what I'm saying. That for most of the areas, that affect the people, you're gonna give it a 0. Obviously, there's been some bright spots, or there's been an attempt to create some bright spots, which can never be denied. There's no government that comes in that does not do anything that's instructive, or that's important, or that's necessary. Nanado would obviously get a lot of plus for the political will to actually pursue free SHS. It's a very important one that even the NDC have identified with, regardless of the issues and the problems that it's come with.
Then you need to give him 1 for that.
Yeah, well, maybe you can give. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it from various different areas. You know, various different areas. So when you look at that, you can give him a certain pros for the political will to start free SHS. But most importantly, for the issues that is actually bedeviling free SHS and the lack of strong will to resolve them or to make it, quickly look to see to it that it does not continue to affect young people. You can give him a 0 on that. But most importantly, it's important to highlight the fact that, the political will to actually kickstart free SHS was a good one, and you can give him props for that. When you come to health, like I said to you, the situation in health is still the same. Years ago, when you take somebody on an emergency to any of the big hospitals, you can only pray to God and wish that the person does not actually, there's no any negative news. The same situation persists. You know, the issue, the no bed syndrome is still affecting us. And so where has been the development here? And he would go on record as perhaps the government in the last few years that has not actually built a single block for a hospital or a clinic or anything. Well, we're hearing that he intends to do 101 hospitals. The intention is good. If he's able to actually execute it without, the problems that it's going to come with, all well and good for the country. You know, but as it stands now, today, where has been the gains? There's a lot of, there's a lot of technical conversations and communication going on economy and where the state of the economy and all of those things and stuff, but it's not actually reflecting in the pockets of the people. And this is a very key point that he, as president or as presidential candidate, has always made a strong point on. He and the vice presidential candidate have always made a strong point that they are looking to enable the economy in the ways that it will reflect in the pockets of the people. In a few time, employment, a lot of the young people that are at home are going to get employed. But where is the employment? The young people are still at home. We still can't get very, very consistent numbers regarding how many employment opportunities or how many employment is created within the last few years. If you take a look at corruption, you go out there into the street, check it. Is corruption worse today than it was before, or there's been something that has been done to it? No. You know, of course, you cannot take it away from him for the intention and ensuring that the public prosecutor was created, which was one of the key points that he made relative to helping to sort out the issues of corruption. We know from the last appointment that he made, we know how he was called. The last public prosecutor called him the mother serpent of corruption.
Hmm.
Because because he cited a lot of instances and examples to support the fact that he's actually the key enabler of corruption in the country. So in this instance, what are you going to give to him? So that's the point that I'm saying, that there are various different areas that there should have been a certain level of improvement that there hasn't been. The issues of insecurity is still a very major one. Key highlight of it was us going into an election and actually 6 people or 7 people dying. This is unheard of. This is not something that should actually happen. Which underscores the security situation in the country. But of course, you cannot take it away that a number of things aren't being done. I'm recognizing digitally some of the things that have been done to ensure that the country is digitized, which is all positive and something that's commendable. We are understanding the .gov platform that had been created through a consortium of a lot of other Ghanaian companies, all led from the office of the vice president, which is also and obviously enabled by the president, which are all commendable. And so you cannot say totally there has not been some gains, but generally, and when you look at the lives of the people and whether there's been an improvement or not, if you're using that as a yardstick, you will look at it and say, across various different sectors, there has not been massive gains.
So he couldn't get 0.
Well, generally, not if I'm not.
I'm trying so hard for you to give him something, but it's like,
no. Well,
were you a teacher before?
Exaggerating the non-performance.
You were a teacher before? Did you teach?
Oh,
okay, because you'll be one of those teachers that will not love to give marks.
I'm not exaggerating the non-performance. If I'm not exaggerating the non-performance, obviously, like I said, you can look at it and give him. It shouldn't be blankets. So maybe you can take, let's say, health. Ask me. What should be the rate on health, for instance? And I look at it and say, well, give him 1% here for this.
But when you do all those calculations, you give some average and maybe you get some for him overall, right?
Yeah, so that's the point that I'm saying that. But the zeros or the negative ones will be plenty.
Okay, Abu, let's move away from another question. You have the veto today to change 3 things to make Ghana better. What will be those 3 things that you do?
Well, I think that for me, and in supporting the NDC, I've been very key about employment. Any opportunity that will be created to provide employment to young people is something that will be very dear to me and very important to myself. And then the health situation. We need to be able to create a situation in the country where people do not die needless deaths because there's no bed syndrome. There's no bed, and so what's it called? Employment, health, and obviously education would be but very important 3 things that I would work with any government to change or impact. So these are, but most importantly, 3 things that for me are tops on my radar, to that point where if any government is seeking my opinion, I was like, look, prioritize employment. There are a lot more younger people that are home that do not have the employment. Prioritize health. Health affects all of us. Like I said,
so
you never can
health,
know. Employment, health, education.
Those are the 3 things.
Right.
So you not build a cathedral. Okay, coming to the cathedral, let me ask you this question. I know your name, SADIQ ABDULAI Abu. If I'm not mistaken, you're Muslim, because my mother-in-law, her name is Humu Yakubu, but she's not a Muslim. So I have to ask.
I'm a Muslim.
You're a Muslim. Okay, you're active Muslim. The chief Imam, right, just gave 50,000 cedis towards the cathedral. What do you think about that?
I don't have an opinion. The chief imam is my grandfather. He knows best in this instance.
He's from his house, so he doesn't want to speak about it.
I don't have an opinion. Hey, in my house and where
it's your house, right?
In my house or where you come from, I cannot even assume to have an opinion over what the grandfather does. No, okay. That's a 100+ man.
Okay,
I'm not 100+. I'm only 36.
Yeah, we hear you.
I'm bidding my time. I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion. Okay.
I don't have an opinion on that, but obviously,
What about on the cathedral
Obviously, my
itself?
opinions.
On the cathedral, you know, now because you're not supposed to have an opinion on this, his phone went off. Can you hear me? You see, this is the exact point where he didn't have any opinion.
My
Now the
opinion
phone is,
would be. I can hear
and
you.
then
There was a call that came through. I
oh,
can hear
okay.
you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now, but your video went off.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
I'm saying that. I'm saying that for me,
mm,
I mean, obviously, if I have to have an opinion, it would always be an opinion of supporting the National Chief Imam,
mm,
who is our grandfather. The
mm,
national, every activity from the National Chief Imam has my endorsement and my support,
okay.
and it nullifies any other opinion that I've had before. Of course,
Mm,
my stance on the cathedral is very clear. I've always held the view that there are far more important things that requires
mm,
that investment than the cathedral. But like I said, the activity or anything that the National Chief Imam does has my full endorsement and nullifies any other opinion
Your
that I've had.
grandfather is your grandfather. You can't go against your grandfather. So yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Well,
But
I mean, it's
anyway,
yeah.
there's this issue I know you're gonna have a say to it. And I'm asking you to this question because I know I'm gonna do a comparison here. People are saying that the West is forcing us to accept gays and lesbians. At the same time, we on the other side of Africa, we are not forcing them to accept polygamy. That is normal in Africa. People can marry one, two, three wives. Your religion even allow that, but they front on that. They don't want to accept that, but they want to force on us to accept gays and lesbians. What do you think about that?
Well, I have been very particular about um, human rights within the confines of the law.
Mm,
Obviously, if the country, yes, within the confines of the law. Obviously, if the country um, realizes that okay, we've got into a direction where I've given people the freedom to exist, include doing A, B, C, D. Why not? But for me,
mm,
I like to stand with my religion often with this. I'm not somebody that support lesbianism or homosexuality, but most importantly as well, I've had people like that work within my team without discrimination.
mm,
Right? I've had people work for me that in that particular way,
mm,
without discrimination. I mean, I have no business really what they do with their lifestyle according to that, but I don't support that as well.
mm,
And obviously, not my stance is underscored by my religious beliefs. Most importantly, which does not support this. But then again, in terms of heavily discriminating against them, I take a more passive position on that, where if you're my team and you are, or I'm having to employ you or give you a gig, um, 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 yeah, here you come. I'm having to employ you or give you a gig. I will not discriminate against you because you are gay or lesbian, and I will not discriminate your presence. I will not push you away from me because you are gay or lesbian. So it needs to be looked at very well within the confines of
mm,
the law. But obviously, currently as it stands now, the country outlaws it.
mm.
I'm a stickler for the law and what the law says. Once the country outlaws it, I would obviously encourage everybody to be a law abiding. That's all.
Mm. Okay, Abu, I think we have come to the end of the show. We have talked a lot. I asked you all I can ask you. All the questions are gone. But before I let you go, at least I want to give you the chance to have your conclusion before we close the program.
Well, thanks for having me. I think that for Africa and the country to develop,
Mm,
obviously, we need the support and the active involvement of people like you that are in the diaspora to continue to look back home and make the necessary effort and investments to help us to develop. Like I indicated, three key things. These three key things that were mentioned: creating the necessary environment for employment to happen, and improving our health and also education would also require some bit of activity for
mm,
people in the diaspora. I mean, there are a lot of people in the diaspora with the requisite expertise and the
mhm,
funds to be able to make these things happen. In fact, we've seen some of them happen. Recently, last week I was reading about twins
mhm,
that have established a hospital instincts, and these were people that were living in the diaspora. And so, for our government to be, and of course, we also need to get to the point that we need to be able to support whatever government that's in. You know my view on also called the current government, but it still does not stop us from making the necessary effort and investment in creating, in easing up some of the things that they would have challenges with in terms of, like, for instance, creating employment or creating avenues for us to unlock values and ensure that the requisite statutory payments are made to the state organizations, which will help them to be able to pursue some of these things. So I'll call on all of you that are in the diaspora to be able to help out with these things. Of course, I mean, government in, government out would have their challenges with various different sectors. I know my view and rating of another government is a bit extreme, but it still doesn't matter. I think that wherever you are, if you are anywhere across the world, in Africa or in Ghanaian, and you have the means to create the necessary things that would create employment and add up to whatever the government is doing, do it. I mean, we encourage you to continue to do that, because the benefits will not only go to Nanado, it goes to all of us. My young brother and sisters and everybody will get employment. If you create the necessary health infrastructure in the country, who knows that tomorrow maybe that's where I would also receive health attention, and so I will continue to encourage everybody, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of whatever. It's important that we continue to wish the current government well and any party well, and continue to do provide the necessary effort and investment that would support whatever effort that they are doing in any different sector. So wherever you are in the diaspora, please look to Ghana. Ghana is home. Make the necessary investment. Come home. Ensure that encourage people to come home. There are a lot of tourism potentials in the country.
Yeah.
Come in. Let the country make a lot more money. Maybe if the country continues to make a lot more money, the government will go extra mile to do a lot of things, and they will get a 10/10 rating.
Abu, thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and I think we had a good time. And I hope to see you in Ghana. And I wish you good stuff. Good stuff in your project and whatever you undertake. May the good Lord protect you and bless you in whatever you're doing.
Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay. That was Abu Sadiq Abdulai Abu. Hey, the CEO of a 3 Music Award. It was a very good chat. We talked a lot. We had a good time. A lot of questions, but one particular question he couldn't answer because of his grandfather. He couldn't answer it. That shows signs of respect for your elders. That's one thing that we also lack in Africa. But at the same time, that's one thing that is also killing Africa. I'm going to talk about it after. Because of our religion, and also because of, maybe, let's say, I'm from a particular village, from a particular tribe, because it's somebody of my family, we turn the blind eye on some issues, or we support because the person is from our tribe, without really, really, really focusing on the issue. And that is also something that is killing Africa, because sometimes we support because it's somebody from our tribe. We support because it's our religion. We support because the person is a member of our family. And that's the problem. But that will be a discussion for another day. But for now, I'll say thank you so much for being part of the show. It was a great show. I enjoyed it, and I hope you also enjoy it. And I say next week, let's have a date again, 7 p.m. Ghana time. That will be 3 p.m. US time. Until then, stay blessed. And I'll usually say, live the life you love the life you live.
All right, this is a special one. All right, vampires, hypocrites, and parasites. Onugwe, rest in peace, Muammar al-Gaddafi, my hero. I cry.
Gaddafi is gone. Oh no.
Ow.
Oh.
Aye.
Ay, 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 ay.
Gaddafi is gone. Oh no. Oh, Gaddafi. Oh. He was my brother, my father, and my friend. So tell me why and how and who. He was a man so strong and bold.